are prepared for wizardly combat.
I want to show you a trick Mother showed me when you weren't around.
And I'll not laugh or fuss, but don't feel it.
Welcome to Spellburn, a podcast covering the Dungeon Crawl Classics role-playing game and old-school adventuring. It's time to party like it's 1974.
Release the princess are prepared for wizardly combat.
I want to show you a trick Mother showed me when you weren't around.
And I'll not laugh or fuss, but don't feel it.
Welcome to Spellburn, a podcast covering the Dungeon Crawl Classics role-playing game and old-school adventuring. It's time to party like it's 1974.
Release the princess are prepared for wizardly combat.
I want to show you a trick Mother showed me when you weren't around.
And I'll not laugh or fuss, but don't feel it.
Welcome to Spellburn, a podcast covering the Dungeon Crawl Classics role-playing game and old-school adventuring. It's time to party like it's 1974.
Release the princess are prepared for wizardly combat.
I want to show you a trick Mother showed me when you weren't around.
And I'll not laugh or fuss, but don't feel it.
Welcome to Spellburn, a podcast covering the Dungeon Crawl Classics role-playing game and old-school adventuring. It's time to party like it's 1974.
Release the princess are prepared for wizardly combat.
I want to show you a trick Mother showed me when you weren't around.
And I'll not laugh or fuss, but don't feel.
Marzio Mushedre barely needs any introduction anymore. He's done a host of DCC RPG adventures, including Star Wound of Abaddon, Veiled Vaults of the Onyx Queen, Across the Veil of Time, House of Jade and Shadow, and the beloved holiday adventure, The Doom That Came to Christmas Town. He's also an authority on mighty deeds with his book Steel and Fury, as well as his own products like Death Slaves of Eternity and most recently Murder House. And now he's just released a new project, or the Kickstarter for a new project, Clark Ashton Smith's Zothique. Most importantly, he is a super fun guest, so we welcome him back to talk about Zothique and all of the above. Welcome, Judge Marz. I'm
Thank
Judge. I'm Judge Julian, and with me, I have the usual cast of Judges Jay, Judge Jen,
Hello, hello.
Judge James,
Hola.
and Judge Marz.
Hey, that's me. All it took is the biggest Kickstarter of my life to be asked to come back on the Spellburn. Thanks a lot.
Well, we're still dealing with the lawyers from last time, so
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Too much, way too much blood and thunder, man.
Too much. I get it.
You came out of the gate with so many. We were like, when do we bring them on? You know, when Mars Press started up, you were like, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, that's right. I'm here now, though. That's all that matters.
That's right.
That is all that matters. Well, we're having too much fun, so it's time to get a libation and start in on the show. So we will be going over to the tavern. All right, here we are at the bar. I'm going to kick it over to Judge Jen to tell us, what your month has been like here.
I had the perfect opportunity to move myself in the order of the roster. Totally missed it.
We were just talking about that.
It's all good.
We were talking about that.
Yeah, well, last month, I actually got to play DCC. It was pretty awesome.
Nice.
We went up to Lake Geneva for a fundraiser that was being held for Donna, Ernie Gygax's widow, to help with some of the, traditional fun parts of life, right? After Ernie's passing. But we got to play a game of DCC that Bob had run, and a few friends of ours from GaryCon showed up, so it was kind of like old home week. Very, very nice to see some of our dear friends again. And man, made me realize, yeah, I probably should have gone to Gamehole. Beyond that, the perpetual ye old project prep for every single thing coming down the pipelines in the next 3 months. Mama needs a drink. But I'm also getting really excited for Feast of the Cyclops Con. There's a special game going on November 14th, I believe, run by Harley. Representing. And yeah, that'll be the 14th through the 16th, and that's all being done through tabletop events. I think it's tabletop.events. So I would send people there to check it out.
That is going to be very fun, this special game run by Harley. Friday night, the 14th, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have hardly any info about this, but I am very curious and excited to see that. So more to come. Watch the YouTube at Goodman Games space for that.
Absolutely.
Judge James, what do you got?
Well, some bittersweet notes first, I guess. Rob Weiland passed maybe last week or so, or last weekend. And Rob Weiland was a game designer. I think he did a lot of stuff with Vampire the Masquerade. I'm not sure if he was associated as a writer with that, but definitely around that time period, World of Darkness really was a big World of Darkness fan. He was a journalist for, I think, at the same time. So he had covered, he's been covered a lot of stuff over the years, and it was often on Forbes. Like, I don't know how that all works. Me being a beneficiary of him being on Forbes, but yeah, there's a guy who had a lot of chops in the industry and was also just lifting every indie creator up. Like, he would talk about Mothership, he'd talk about all these smaller games on some of the on a huge platform. So he will be missed. I think there's a GoFundMe for him to help his family. So a cheers to Rob Weiland. Gone too soon. In other news, around here, I got to play Werewolf again. Oh, speaking of World of Darkness, got to play Werewolf again, this playtest that I mentioned last month. We were on that again. So that was a good session. I got to turn Krynos. I haven't done that in a million years. The hell out of things, and it was great. There's a part 3 coming up, and I think that we'll finish it off then. Netcrawl is like almost done. Like, the production is almost
Whoa.
finished. I've got
Wow.
Congrats, dude. That is huge.
it's nuts. I can't
Yeah.
even think about, like, it's been a year of producing it, basically. A year and a month of making it get on paper and get all the art and all that stuff. So it's crazy to think about that it's over. But also super relieved. So I got to start fulfilling next. So we'll get all the stuff in the boxes, and they'll be great to see that go out all over the country and all that kind of good stuff.
Does that mean that you've got the printed product and you're waiting to mail it?
I have right now four modules all printed up sitting downstairs. The other one, the main rule book, is at a local printer here in Chelsea, Michigan. I say this for Marzio's benefit. That I did a hard case edition. It's a hard case book for the main rule book, 184 pages. I'll be able to go pick that up supposedly November 3rd. That'll be awesome. Just throw it in the back of my van and drive that stuff home. And then the other books are just like, I running a test print for the world building book to see that kind of come back, because it's all color inside, which is a stretch goal for that book. And then I got one adventure left to get back, and then these suckers are all going in boxes.
Wow. That's a huge amount of stuff. Yeah, congrats. That is great.
Thanks. It's been a journey. And then I'm really excited to be at UConn, which is weirdly the same time as Feast of Cyclops Con. So I will not be at Feast of Cyclops Con, because I will be at my con in Ypsilanti, Michigan, playing a bunch of games of Netcrawl. I'll also be selling my books there. I guess we got a table, so come on by.
Nice.
Buy some stuff, say hi.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How far is that from you, Marzio?
About a half hour.
Yeah.
40 minutes, just over the border.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's right there. It's the closest con to me, possibly. Yeah. And it's now I have that game that you were talking about with Harley on the Friday. And then Sunday I'm running a game for the Feast of Cyclops Con. I put that in because Matt Robertson guilted me into running a game. And so Saturday I plan on driving to the con for the day. You know what I mean? I have to go.
Nice.
I haven't been in a number of years. I know I spent James's birthday. Remember that? That 1 year?
Yes.
Yeah. And we hung out, and that was like one of my first cons in a long time. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to get back there. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's good people. Corey's going to be, Kojo is going to be there. So 100%. All those people, all the Michigan folks, Don, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Oh, I had a blast last time. Josh Burnett is out there.
Oh yeah, he'll be there. Yep.
And oh gosh, Larry Hamilton, is that his name?
Yeah, Larry Hamilton.
He's a great GM. Had a blast playing in his game. So just a great time.
Yeah. So if you're in southeastern Michigan and you're not going to Cyclops Con, Should come out to UConn.
Indeed.
How about you, Judge Julian? What's been happening?
Well, yeah, on the super depressing note, I guess I'll do this first because it's horrible and I'll get it out of my system. But we had to say goodbye to our dear friend Katie Lauchrist locally. Katie was pretty well known in DCC community with her husband Tim Lochrist, who'd been a long time DCC judge and player, and just guy that went to GaryCon and Gamehole and everything. And Katie went with him, and people know both of them. And but she passed away very suddenly, just with complications in breast cancer and stuff like that. It's a very horrible, sudden thing. If you knew her, you are just shocked because she was so full of life. She was the person who lit up the room every time, full of energy, just a bundle of energy, literally bouncing off the walls. One of the most active, extroverted, engaging people you ever meet. You know, as healthy as you could be, running, biking, volleyball nut, just full of life, and it's a huge blow to the crowd, to Tim and others. So just horrible, and we're gonna miss her a ton. It's probably about as much as I can manage. But Katie, we're gonna miss you a lot. Tim, we love you. Katie, we love you too. Okay, so change modes here. Take a deep breath. So, Chantopol, I have been having a blast with our old friend, Judge Daniel J. Bishop. He's running an online campaign, West Marches style, on Discord, and it's a blast. And I think, other people can get on Discord and find him on Chantopol and also play. I don't know if they can join my group exactly. There are a few little rules like that, but they might be able to, and they can certainly talk to Daniel and make their own groups and play online with one of the best DCC judges around, Judge Daniel J. Bishop. So I've been having a blast with that. I've got a warrior almost second level, almost made it last time, almost TPK'd. We're just having super fun, classic DCC adventures, and nothing more to say than that. We're doing our Isle of Dread campaign with my Judge Andre Sola, one of our local gamers here. I'm playing Mungo, the Cleric of Zeus, and he still sucks. I can't remember playing any character for this long that I actively sort of dislike, but
Wow.
yeah, I'm beginning. The more I play clerics, I'm beginning to come around to the old Judge Jeff Goads idea of getting rid of them because, oh my God, the disapproval I rack up. And then I try to go big on the divine aid, and
no.
wow, I
Yeah.
just get blocked every time. It's just horrible. So yes, but it is a very fun campaign. I am having a blast. One day Mungo's luck will turn and it'll be great. So sooner or later, the worm will turn. I've also been finishing up some work on an adventure for Explore Dungeons, and that is called The Carnivorous Cauldron. It's a tie-in with Castle White Rock, so it won't be out there till next year, and there's going to be just huge, interlinked stuff, sort of like they did with the Purple Planet. I think there's a bunch of publishers. There's going to be all kinds of stuff. I shouldn't talk out of school too much because I don't even know too much about it, but at any rate, it's super fun, very classic dungeony feel to it, and tried to get real weird with it and make it fun and funny and weird. I guess that's what I like, so that's what we did. Looking forward to seeing that. The maps and art have been coming in, and they're very cool. And Chris Williams, this guy in Explore Dungeons, is great. He's worked with Judge Bob Brinkman on a couple adventures so far, and got a lot of stuff in the pipe. So very excited about that. Now, I had a question. I was going to write an email, but I was too lazy and stupid, so I didn't. Now, just luck of the draw, we already had arranged to have Judge Marz on the show. And I consider him sort of the mighty deeds guru. So this is, I think, well placed here. So Judge Marz, but also Judge Jen and Judge James, who are no slouches either. I was in this Dan Bishop game, and we were busting down doors and doing, raising portcullises and bending bars and doing all that classic fighter strengthy stuff. And I, at one point, asserted to Dan in the way that I do, don't I get a deed roll on my feat of strength? Because that's like a warrior thing. And I know it says somewhere in the rules there's one thing about you should also get your deed on mighty feats of strength. And he said no. And I said, no, but it does say that in the book. And he kind of looked at me like I was crazy. And well, of course, his video's on, but mine wasn't, because whatever. And so I was like, no, I'm sure I've read this. So anyway, whatever. He's the judge, so he's right, and it's no big deal. I think he did let me do it once, but I went back to the book and I looked at it in more depth and without talking to Matt Robertson, thank God. And it's not in there. It's not in there at all. I couldn't find anything like that. So Judge Marz, Judge Jen, Judge James, am I completely hallucinating this, or is this somebody else's house rule, or is this a Steel and Fury rule, or where did I come up with that idea that you could use, you could do mighty deeds of strength on your strength checks, essentially?
That's
want
news to me.
say,
Yeah.
I want to say it's in Sailors. I want to say that Harley brings it up in relation to the portcullis at the keep.
Oh.
That's why it's so ingrained in our heads, because we read it so long ago.
Oh. It would be exactly why I couldn't find it. I will feel so smart if that is right. You will make me so happy. I will owe you a glass of something when I find out. So gosh, I hope that's right. Then yes, it'll be at GaryCon, but hey. Okay, well, brilliant. I'm gonna double check. You say Sailors. What do you say, James? Have you heard anything like that?
Sailors is a funnel.
Yeah, I know. Shouldn't be in a
Why
funnel.
why would you have a mighty deed die at
Well,
all?
it was early
was
on.
it Sailors then?
But maybe it's in an adventure. It might be in like Savage Kings or one of Harley's early adventures.
Maybe.
It's a good
I remember it was like 2013, 2014 when I started reading that stuff. It was before I was editing.
That's okay. That's a good lead, because I can go to I'll look at Harley's stuff first, and I'll look in those early adventures. That kind of rings a bell faintly. It would be good to know that I'm not completely losing my marbles. I will say I think it's a good house rule. I think it's a good house rule anyway. I think not like for busting open a door in a dusty hallway when nothing's happening. I mean, who cares? But if the heat is on, the goblins are coming down in a wave, there's 50 goblins coming at your 4 adventurers, and you really need to get through this portcullis, I think, that could be a mighty deed of strength. I think that there are times when it's very Appendix N for Conan to be able to do nearly superhuman feats of strength. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Feel like you'd be better served somehow, like combining it with an attack. I know that sounds like, stretches credulity or whatever, but if you could like somehow, I don't know, launch a sword or a javelin as you're like trying to pull up the portcullis or something like that. I don't know. I'm making up stuff. It sounds very cockamamie, but you got to have an attack.
Well, I'm asserting no. But
I'm saying I don't feel like the rules do that.
Well, okay.
It's your action at your point in initiative, right?
Okay, I'll dig deeper.
Marz, what do you say?
Yes. I say yeah. Why not? Sounds like a great idea. I never thought of it when but I was going to say the same thing as James. Just attack the door and use your deed die. But in Steel and Fury, we did things like, or Blood and Thunder as well. We did things like, rallying troops and and stuff like that. So what's the difference? If it's cinematic, it fits Appendix N. Why not? Let's use that deep
Yeah.
dive.
So yeah, we're gonna do Brawn and Brains, a new splat book I'm gonna write for Marz
Wow.
Press. Mighty
You can
Deeds
do
of
it.
Ability Scores, right?
Ooh.
Can you? It'll be
All right.
awesome. It'll be
I have a
great.
moratorium on deeds and nothing that is veiled or in a vault anymore. I'm not allowed to use those terms
I
ever
noticed.
again.
I noticed you had some veils going.
I had a lot of veils going on. Yeah, so
Okay.
I put a stop to that.
Okay. Well, Judge Marz, it's your turn up. What's give us your tavern lowdown? It's been a while since you're here from. What's in your game in I know you're busy with
Well, yeah,
something which we'll talk about as our main topic.
just a little busy. I've been diving into the subterranean vaults of Zothique in the perilous deserts. Been writing that. Been really busy doing that. Obviously, I've entered the ninth circle of hell, which is called Kickstarter. I'm trying to navigate all of that.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
think I'm doing everything right while doing everything wrong, if that makes any sense. So everything's going well. It's just I'm probably not doing it the easiest possible way, but I'm finding my way through it all, and so far it's working pretty good. Like I said, I did manage. I have been playing out of all things 5e. Actually, I've been in a game of 5e for a year now. We play. We try to play twice a month if we can. Summertime took a big hit, but my buddy has been running us through oh my god, now I can't remember what it's called, but it's a 5e game where a city's got hit by a comet and it's all full of like purple mist. I can't believe it. Dragons of Drakenheim. That's what it is. A Drakenheim campaign that he's running and having a lot of fun playing a little 5e for a change. Yeah.
Are you
Other than that, I'm deep into writing, and also like you said about that project coming up. I do have something coming up spring for that as well for the Castle White Rock. It's called When Dying Unicorns Dream, and the adventures basically you enter the dream of a dying unicorn to save it. Unlike Zothique, where there would be no unicorns, this one has unicorns in it later down the road. But like I said, I'm everything Clark Ashton Smith right now.
Yeah. Well, that's a good place to be, although not the most uplifting, but still
Yeah.
you're surrounded by beautiful language and intense sublime decadence.
Yes.
Well, brilliant. Thanks guys. Let's do a quick crowd burn roundup, and we're not going to talk about Zothique, but we have a few other things before we move on to Clark Ashton Smith later in our show. But let's go over to the crowd burn. All right, I'm going to kick it off here. Congrats to, I believe it's our Wayward. Was it Wayward Studios that did the horror cinema classics? I suppose I should actually know this, right?
Sounds right.
I would say yes, Wayward
Yes.
Studios. Okay, very good. So congrats to them. They have wrapped up their Kickstarter or backer kit, whichever was, and they had a great one. It's over 300% funded. It funded right away. It is a game of horror cinema classics, a role-playing game that plunges players into the eerie, neon-lit nightmares of 1980s horror movies. Will you be the one to rewrite the script or fall victim to the horrors waiting in the shadows? And of course, I believe they got all their stretch goals funded, which includes adventures by horror luminaries like Tim Snyder, Judge Stephen Newton, one of our favorites, another of our favorites, Judge Bob Brinkman, and Judge John Hook. Well, actually, they're all favorites of ours. We have, there's four.
I mean, I'm
estimable.
kind of partial to one, but
Well, I get it. But yeah, Judge Stephen has bought
Sorry.
me some cocktails over the years, so I
Same.
have to. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But at any rate,
He's a good man.
Four estimable gentlemen and all great adventure writers in their own right, and here they are doing horror cinema classics. Now, the campaign is done, but on BackerKit, you can go to the link in the show notes, or you're probably too lazy, so you just Google them, and you can pre-order them right now. So you don't have to wait. If you miss the boat, you don't have to wait. You can go and pre-order it and get it over with. So do that. I'll put a link in the show notes, or you can just use your friendly neighborhood search engine and get her done. All right. Judge James, do you want to take the next one?
I sure will. Shane Kablooey is back out there. Well, actually, not back out there. This is his first time. His first Kickstarter went live
Hey.
and it's a WHPA supplement called Roxy's Rollers, which is all about, uh, you know, roller derbies and of course WHPA. So you're like all this roller derby characters and and then some adventures to be had inside the book. I should read what it says here, but I don't feel like I should. It's a collision of bruised knees, bad attitudes, and raw freedom on four wheels. Told through the scattered remains of three outlaw zines, this anthology captures living, breathing culture of rebellion and speed. Every ripped page, wild stat, and battered advert adds grit to the scene, from neon lit derby riots to midnight park runs. So it looks wild and fun, and he actually sent us a copy of it to look at. It looks that kind of WHPA zine style, like do it yourself. It looks awesome.
Thank you, Kablooey.
Thank you, Kablooey.
Yes.
Godspeed. More people should be backing it.
Terrific. I want to say it. So yeah, he sent us kind of a promo draft copy. So it looked awesome. The layout is there. It very much in the Fairhaven mode, and some of the greatest late 70s, early 80s hairstyles I've seen in a long time. And also some antagonists called the Parents Filth Retribution Center. So you can't go wrong with that. I'm looking forward to seeing the final product, and this should be really good.
Yeah.
Yes, PFRC.
Nice.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, Judge Jen. So we said the time on that. That's running through November 4th. So Fairhaven aficionados, jump on the Roxy's Rollers train. Judge Jen, you ready for the next one?
Yes, and it launches tomorrow on October 28th. It's the newest X-Crawl crowdfund. It is X-Crawl Road Trip in honor of the North American Empire's 250th birthday. The Empire is organizing a series of special events across the country. From a direwolf dog sled race in Alaska to defending a Florida sandcastle from sea monsters, like you do. X-Crawlers will partake in deadly challenges themed to various locales, bringing glory to the Empire. And this is the newest from Reorgan Games. You all know Judge Ed Stanek. And I imagine Sun had something to do with this one as well.
I would think so.
Again, that one is launching on the 28th.
Tomorrow, if you're
Yes. If you're watching.
If you're watching.
Yeah.
And
you're not going to listen tonight. Sorry.
And if any of these dates are wrong, it's because when I got the info, it was like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. It's my fault, not theirs. But it should be good. We'll put links, of course, to all these projects in the notes for the show.
Absolutely.
One last one for tonight. This was a late-breaking news item in my inbox from Mr. Sean Richer. I was super excited to see this. He called it in his email the final issue of Terror of the Stratosphere, coming soon. A planet-wide adventure through the insides of a god leading to the birth of a laughing titan, complete with new bestiary entries, new spells, new classes, and new gods. Prepare to call down starships and beasts from the drop astral plane. This is not live yet, although I think it's going soon, but we do have a link, call to action link, so that you can go and follow it. And what do you get when you go and follow it like you do? You get a frickin' adventure. There is a actual Sean Richer adventure, Iron Squawk 7, a crazy funnel adventure race up a mountain. That could potentially involve lots of falling off that same mountain. You can play a normal 0 level guy, you can play a Pterodon, or maybe a Stratus Fiend 0 level guy. Anyway, you're going to die, horribly when you fall down on the plutonium rocks of the plain beneath the mountain. It's crazy. I would say you better go follow it and claim your prize. Iron Squawk 7 and get in the Stratosphere mode. If you're not there already, we did an episode with him. Was it this year, last year? Within the last
Yeah.
like 18 months, right?
Last,
And
like around this time last year.
yeah, exactly. And
That's
serious
a heck of a pre-launch.
yeah, right. Let's
Jeez.
let's give stuff away. It's a pre-goal. It's not a stretch goal. It's a pre-goal. So yeah, I'm everything Sean does, of course, is just something to behold. So very excited to see that. And we have. I'm sorry. It looks like we do have one more.
I kind of slipped one in.
Oh, James, look at you, sneaky Pete.
Yeah.
All right, you want to go ahead and read this guy?
I sure will. Hirelings to Heroes. It's not out yet, so it's still in that collection of interest phase. You should go out there and let our good friend Michael Sprederman know that you're interested in backing his Hirelings to Heroes. It's a 0 level funnel for Shadow Dark and for DCC. The Hirelings have to become the heroes once everything kind of goes sideways. So be on the lookout for that. And it's going to be on Kickstarter.
All right. Yeah.
And we'll have a link, of course.
Yeah, very
as
good.
we do.
As we do. So great. Well, it's great to see so many people in the community putting stuff together for DCC, for Fairhaven. Always great to see it. So keep it coming. And as our pal Joey says, stay weird.
Yes.
All right. We're going to go over to the emails in about 5 seconds. All right. And we have a couple emails today, assuming James hasn't snuck one in on me or something.
I haven't. No, I'm a good boy.
Judge Jen, do you want, since you just did Judge Ed's crowdfunder, do you want to take his first email here?
I sure can. Hey, Judges J, I have another rules variation to mention. Our group has started using D&D type ability score mods, i.e. 10 to 11 is +0, 12 to 13 +1, 14 to 15 +2, etc. Instead of the standard DCC mods. And he says, here's why. When you have someone make an ability check, there are basically 2 approaches. Yes, we keep the same pattern for the entire scale for the sake of consistency, but also for the same reason to make differences in ability scores have more impact. You can have them roll under their score, or you can have them roll and add their modifier. Option 1 is nice in that it's very granular. Every change in ability score makes a difference in the roll. The downside is that it goes against the general notion of higher is better. It makes dealing with DCs a real challenge, and it doesn't lend itself as well to die type changes. Option 2, which is roll and add your mod, fits well with the rest of the game mechanics, but using standard DCC, an ability score of a 9 and a 12 have the same roll, where a 9 and a 15 are only different by 1. That seems like some pretty big gaps in ability score to have little or no impact on an action. Using the D&D scale, where the mod changes on every even number, it's a nice compromise between the 2 methods. It requires very little change to the game mechanics while making differences in ability scores more meaningful. Love your show, Ed Stanek. All right, Ed. I'm sure people have some thoughts. I'm going to start with Marzio. He's the guest.
I like roll under, if that's what you're asking me. I love to roll under my stats. That way every point actually has meaning. I know some people don't like the idea that it's not a high roll, but I don't know. That's something I've always kind of, big deal is what I say. I mean, it's intuitive to me. And if I have a chance to do that, that's usually what I'll ask for. That's me. whatever works for you guys. That's the best. That's the beauty of gaming. Anything that I say right now, don't do any of it because you can do your own thing. And I think that's why we all game, to be honest with you. Much like the adventures I write, I never expect someone to play them exactly the way I've written them. There's got to be changes. People have to fit whatever they want to do at their own table. Same thing with the stats. I don't know if that's a cop out, but that's my answer.
Okay, James, you're having fun with that.
I don't know. It's like, hey, we're freewheeling over here. That's what it all is. You're absolutely right. It doesn't
Fair.
matter, you know. Go for it. Have fun.
Do what you like. Yeah.
Do what you like.
All right, Julian, you look pensive.
I would say I think first of all I like Roll Under just fine. It's a classic D&D house rule that we used when I was a young lad for many decades. And I was a young lad for many decades. It's kind of strange. Let me tell you about that time dissolution thing, that time dilation thing sometime, but not tonight. So anyway, I'd say that the roll under thing is perfectly good and is very simple and intuitive, so it has that going for it. However, as Judge Ed mentions, since all the adventures and stuff are written with the roll high thing, it can be a little weird. And then when you have variable DCs, not that any good judge worth their salt can figure out how to make that work and freestyle that on the fly, but we also want things to be easy for judges to pick up and run without having to, manage every little nook and cranny of a situation. So I think Ed's proposed solution is an elegant way to attack that if you want a little more granularity. Not something I worry about very much. It does sort of make sense in the way that the games they pulled the pluses and minuses toward the middle with every edition of D&D, I believe, because it starts out like OD&D that you only got a +1 at 16, I believe, or something like that. And then it goes, further and further towards the middle in each edition. But, why not? I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I think what you're saying does reward some granularity. And the good thing about it, Judge Ed, would be that you can just put it on the character sheet. It's invisible once you've written in what their ability bonuses are on their character sheet. The whether you change what's in the book is totally invisible to the character anyway, or to the player rather. So it's very easy to implement at the table. They just look at their sheet. They see a 1 or a 2 or whatever it is, and off they go. So have at it, have fun. I bet Judge Ed is a great judge, and I would love to find out in person sometime. But our next email is from Judge No, returning email customer. I believe consecutive episodes. Judge James, do you want to take Judge No's email here?
Oh, I took the first one. Why shouldn't I take the second one? Welcome back, Judge No. I enjoy the push and pull with players spending their luck and getting luck back from cool actions. What about thieves and halflings? If they are recovering all their spent luck and still getting luck rewards from playing, won't they just continually have climbing luck scores that never go down? Thanks in advance for your insight. Oh, there's 2 emails? What's this? It doesn't even say PPS on this.
Yes, this is a follow-up. So.
Oh, it's just like a separate email. Another
on the same topic.
Oh, so, okay. Wait. Oh, so it continues like in another email.
Right.
You could have edited this better.
It just says follow-up email in parentheses, and it gives the second.
Do I need to know that information? No.
Well, it could be. Yeah, okay.
All right. I'm being tart. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Wow.
Pedantic tart.
It's a little spicy over here.
I'm wigging out. I'm almost done with Netcrawl. Forgive me, everyone. I had another idea. So a follow-up. So the first idea is we have problems maybe with luck, right? I had another idea for an approach to luck regenerators. Aha. I like the idea of temporary luck points, but I want an option for thieves and halflings to improve their luck sometimes. If a thief or halfling with full luck gains a luck point in-game, their luck score improves. If they have spent luck already, they only regain the spent luck and their luck score does not improve. I look forward to hearing the Judges J discuss it. Judge No. It's like Judge Kojo, but
Right.
But no.
but no.
When I finally write a sonnet for Judge Kojo, I'll remember that I can actually rhyme Judge No with Judge Kojo. It'll be good.
I
Okay.
love that.
Anyway,
All right.
I think we've probably answered this question at least once or twice before.
We or like
well,
in
it may
our
have been
past
before.
we's.
May have been before your time.
Okay.
So you may have a new perspective, and Marzio is probably not on that show with us, although you never know. I think the typical thing we have done for most people, just in the interest of time, is they let people they don't let those characters increase past their maximum born with luck in most cases. So they can regenerate, if the thief has a 14, the thief can regenerate back up to 14, but their luck doesn't let them permanently raise it up over 14. Or if they do, it's a temporary luck, and you can spend it at the table even if you have 14, but you don't permanently get to change your luck to 15.
What if the award is a point of luck to everybody?
Well, same. Doesn't matter. You have a temporary luck, and you can't raise it over 14.
Okay.
I mean, it seems to me like that's what people do, because I've seen other people do it at cons pretty similarly, and it's sort of the de facto house rule. And my campaigns, since good old Clint Bohady had a halfling with a 21 luck at one point,
right?
And in my second ever DCC campaign, so we saw how that went.
Yeah.
But anyway, Judge Marz, what do you think? You got any thought on this?
I feel like I'm on trial over here. I plead the fifth. I only deal in what's called shit out of luck for my players. No, I'm just joking. For me, luck to increase your luck above the to increase your luck above your score has to be like a favor of the gods or something like that. In the adventure, Star Wound of Abaddon, at the end of the adventure, if you if you close the Star Wound, some of the gods, you can choose some rewards. One of them is a permanent increase of luck. So I've always played it where you gain luck, but never over your maximum. And anything that you would just be temporary, and you have to kind of use it.
Yeah, I like that. That's a bit, and you could quest for it, right? That's good.
Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah, it's got to be something important. But yeah.
All right. Judge James, Judge Jen, do you guys have anything on that guy?
I think they kind of Judge No kind of. I think the approach I would choose is kind of what's here, what you've pointed out in the second email, of like if they've been spending their luck, that luck point goes to like kind of the pool that's been lost. It's not it doesn't go on top. And I guess, if he has full luck and he gains a point of luck in a game, and man, first I have to think like what's been going on in this adventure that they haven't burned any luck.
Well, it is weird. I mean,
right?
Yeah.
Sometimes the
Yeah.
dice are
really good.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Not when I play a cleric, but I hear that there are games like this.
But like especially the ones who can burn it, they should just be throwing that stuff all over the place, So
Oh yeah.
But I mean, if it so happens that a thief or a halfling gets to the end of an adventure and some momentous event, increases their luck, not just kind of that generic, oh, here's a point or whatever, but yeah, like Marzi was saying, then it should go up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think his approach is fine.
Yeah, I think he kind of fixed his own problem. Having been in the same spot as Julian, where players had a natural max of over 20 luck, just because that's how things rolled out, then the same way that other players would gain luck in Marzio's world, which is divine intervention, guess what? It's a curse, and you lose permanent points of luck. Sorry.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
I mean, you can roll for it, but your actions also kind of do it for you too.
Hmm. Hmm.
Just have to get
It's
Matt Robertson in here.
sounds
Yeah.
very cold-hearted of me, doesn't it? Wow.
I like that. I like that. Keep going. I like this.
I
I
mean,
like this, Jen. The new Jen.
no. Oh God, no, not new at all. Just the paradigm of it's a resource that you have to separate your players from, or separate
Yeah.
from your
Yeah.
players, just
Yes.
like
Yeah.
gold.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You should
For
be
sure.
encouraging that halfling to help out his buddy, or that thief to like, hey, you got this backstab. You sure you don't want to spend a couple points of luck and see how far up the crit charts you go?
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
You know, like totally, like you shouldn't just be a passive bystander on the usage of stats and luck. You should be, facilitating their use.
Yeah, that's
Oh
one of the
yeah.
great things about the Dan Bishop campaign is of watching him judge DCC, and especially how he does luck, because every judge is a little different. Do they kind of tease you with it? He doesn't really give you a lot of info about it, and except when the chips are down, it becomes a little clearer. If you're really on the edge. But anyway, Judge Noto, thank you for writing. Appreciate your emails. Time to send us some new emails, listeners. Mailbag is empty, so keep them coming. And we are going to go over and do our patron bond with our guest, Marzio, in 5. All right. Marzio, welcome back. Thanks for putting up with us. Well, we want to first say your Kickstarter for Zothique is live. It is funded. It's running through November 13th. So that is way out from today. You have plenty of time, but don't delay. Just go hit it right now. If you're watching us live on YouTube and you haven't already done it, you know you want to. So just do it before we get off the air, and you'll feel better for yourself. If you've looked at the covers and the arts and stuff,
Oh my gosh.
Forget it. So,
Yes. Who's the artist? Satisfy the curiosity, Marz.
Well, San Julian is the main artist on the main book. I went out and got a hold of San Julian, which is a funny story in itself. But
well, we're
a
here.
little bit. What's that? Go ahead.
We're here for funny stories.
So it was probably 2 Christmases ago that I decided, hey, you know what? I was deep in the holiday cheer, let's say, on vacation, and I decided I was going to write a Zothique RPG. So obviously, the first thing you should do is contact the artist and get them to paint a cover before I even had any idea that I'm even allowed to write this thing. I hadn't contacted the estate. I hadn't planned what I was going to write. I just figured, you know what? I'm going to call San Julian and I'm going to do it tonight. So I reached out to some people and I got his personal contact info. I figured it's morning time in Spain. So I sent him an email and he got back to me. And next thing you know, within I don't know, a couple of weeks, I had a full painting that cost more than my car delivered to my house. And all I had to do was write an adventure and write actually get the okay to write this thing. So that's kind of the way it worked out. Totally backwards, but that's how I got San Julian to be the cover of my adventure, or not adventure, the whole Kickstarter, the campaign guide. So he's one of the artists, of course. I have there's 3 books. Yeah.
Was it around? Is it like four digits to get a cover, or less? 3 digits? I don't want to know how much like around.
I got. Well, first of all, it's euros, and then it's transformed to Canadian monopoly money, so it's astronomical figure as always, right? Because our money's worth not much, but yeah. And then I had, it's funny. I woke up in the morning with a no, it wasn't that, but a couple drinks, a lasagna, Christmas time. Hell, let's get San Julian out of it. Let's get him going. So, I sent him one email. I gave him the idea of what I wanted to do. He freaking loved it. And I gave him 2 suggestions on the cover. He chose one and turned it into something way cooler than I ever could. And that's usually what happens. That's my experience when I deal with artists. I give them an idea and they're like, yeah, thanks, pal. And they gave me a way cooler product. So I'm grateful for them for that. So that's kind of how this whole thing started. And truthfully, the last thing I did, which we'll get into if you want to talk about how awesome the literary estate has been, the last thing I did was get approval from the estate. I had Kickstarter page built, flyers handed out at Gen Con, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't even have the okay from the estate still. I should get that done. So I kind of went about it in the backward circle, but everything worked out.
That's hilarious. I know even at like
Yeah.
Dungeon Con, you were asking like what you should do about getting rights. That was in April.
Yeah. I didn't think there was I didn't I didn't think there was anything from here. Like I didn't even know the estate existed. And then finally you guys all scared me and they're like, yeah, sure there is. You idiot. There's an estate. And I'm like, really? I should find them. But you know what, Chris at Cassiana Enterprise, he's a fantastic human. I think he felt the passion when I talked to him about what I wanted to do, and I certainly feel it from him in trying to keep Clark Ashton Smith's voice alive and vibrant. And when we talked, you know what I mean. I don't want to speak for him, but I got a great sense from him. He's been nothing but accommodating to me, and especially when I'm coming at it with, oh, by the way, I have all this set up. You want to give me the okay? And he did. So, I'm very grateful for him. And it's working out. It's been working great.
That's awesome.
Okay, so I see the compatibility symbols on the site for both 5e and DCC. What am I getting in for? What is in store for me?
So I'm doing it in 3 actually. So it's going to be DC. Okay, everything I start with is DCC, of course. That's kind of my deal. And then I've done so much conversion work for Goodman, bringing 5e products to DCC and vice versa. And then I've played 5e that I kind of know that aspect of it too. The Shadow Dark was really the outlier, the anomaly. When I started, like James has been saying, when I went around and I talked to people at conventions or online about this idea of writing the Zothique RPG source guide and adventures, overwhelmingly people were telling me, do it for Shadow Dark. Do it for Shadow Dark. And I'm like, I kind of know Shadow Dark, but I don't know anything about it. So I kind of took a look, and you know what? I love what I saw. The aesthetics, the tone, everything kind of fit. And I'm like, heck, why not? Let's do it for Shadow Dark too. And then, why not other ones? People ask me, why not Swords and Wizardry? Why not all that? Because I'm going to go mad if I do one more. So there's no more. Totally if I try to do one more, I give everyone the full right to smash me in the head with a bag of D4s. These are the 3 I'm doing. And, but what you get with what the Kickstarter is all about is it's actually 4 different books. So it's the Zothique source guide, the Denizens of the Dying Sun, which is a book of about 80 creatures, all drawn from the stories. Well, everything's drawn from the stories. So the source book's going to have, I think it has 50 locations, full locations, with an additional 150 notable places and sub-locations. Then it's got like 5 new character classes, 10 gods, 60 magic items, all drawn from the stories. And then there's some rule mechanics, some that I've thrown in there, as well as, and then there's an introductory adventure, and that's in the main source book. The Denizens has, of course, 80 creatures as of now. I might do more, we'll see, but it's 80 drawn from the stories. It's got like tables, hazards, travel hazards, treasure charts, all that kind of stuff, diseases. And then the final book, of course, is the Litanies of the Dead, which is a 3-adventure. It's marketed as a trilogy of 3 doomed adventures. And one of them is being written by none other than my good friend here, Julian Bernick, who is writing one of the adventures in the story, in the book. One, because I love the way he writes. I love what he did with Dying Earth. And I needed a poet, much like myself. Julian and I being poets, or I want to be poet. Actually, Julian's the actual poet. I have his book here,
Oh,
Castle
shucks.
Bash.
Hey,
Um,
Castle Bash. Hey, everybody,
hey,
we're
I
putting
needed
that
a
in the
poet.
show notes, just like that.
If anybody, yeah, 100%. If anybody writes in a poetic style, there's no one other than Clark Ashton Smith. The whole thing, I can't tell poetry from prose when it comes to him. So Julian's on board for that. I believe the adventure you're doing, Julian's, it's presented in 3 litanies to the dead, the adventure guide. So his is the first litany, which is a covenant of worms. So he's got the first adventure in it, and then I'm going to do the other 2. So that is basic. Oh, and then the omnibus, of course. My God, this is a thing that I kind of just threw in there when I was first talking with Chris at Cassiana. I'm like, you know what I'd love to do? Bring the stories back and get them illustrated, each story illustrated. And then it almost became a focal point. I was so excited because it was different than the RPG. Here I am. I'm going to take 15 of the Clark Ashton Smith Zothique stories, 15 stories, 1 poem, 1 play of 6 acts. So he wrote a play, and then there's 4 fragment writings I'm doing that I found. I'm putting them all in 1 book, hardcover book, and I'm getting them illustrated by Lucas Corte, who's a fantastic artist. He's illustrating each story, so we have 1 full-page illustration for each story. So there's 15 of those, and then we're going to throw a couple of smaller illustrations throughout the flesh of the book. And that is the omnibus. I'm very excited about that. So
Where does
3
that
RPG
fit
books,
in?
1 omnibus, and the map. Let's not forget the map. I'm not done talking, Jen. Just hold on. The map, man.
Holy cow. No, I'm
Everybody-
actually
everybody
scrolling through the
back-
page.
Everybody
Scrolling through the
back to
Kickstarter. Wow.
Gets a 12 by 18 inch full color map. If you back the print version, if you back a digital version, you get a digital map. And the map, once again, is done by Lucas. It's fantastic. It's a beautiful map. I'm going to do a update. I'm going to put out a new Kickstarter update showing the map a little bit better because it's kind of small on the page itself. But that's the Kickstarter in a nutshell. I got a couple other things I'm going to add on as I go on. But
Well, I will say I'm super excited to do this. He is, pretty much right up there with Vance as far as being my favorite Appendix N guy. Maybe Lovecraft has to be there, but he's also like very formative to Vance. When I went back and I was rereading a bunch of the Zothique stuff, obviously when talking to Marzio, and man, you can hear Vance's language. You can see his very dark sense of humor, maybe darker than Vance. I mean, they're different too, but a lot of that comes right out of Clark Ashton Smith. And since I wasn't going to say anything about this, but since you brought it up, he's the only good poet of any of these clowns. I have to say he was really quite a good poet, and Lovecraft. Robert Howard, what Howard does is okay sometimes. It's actually probably the second best, but it's not saying much, and the rest of them. But but if you can go find his poetry online and stuff, he's pretty good. I'll put him up against people of his time and place. Anyway, so talk. Some people maybe Marzio don't have a sense of Clark Ashton Smith exactly. He's not as well known. He's of course not officially in Appendix N.
Right.
He's like the main. He's like the biggest name they left out, or the biggest should have had, right?
Mhm.
Right.
But how did you come to Clark Ashton Smith, and not just I read about it in a Howard newsletter type thing, but I mean, what is it? Sell us if you're somebody who hasn't read him yet. Sell that guy on Clark Ashton Smith. What is it about him?
So I'd like to think that I would remember I came upon Clark Ashton Smith, like I should be like lifted up like the rapture, like, oh my God, Clark Ashton Smith, there's all this light around me and I remember it in my time. But I think my story's similar to many. I started with, you get bombarded with H.P. Lovecraft and you like it. Then you find Robert E. Howard. Well, you read, at least I read, which was all the Tor stuff at the time, the Tor book stuff. And then Del Rey put out their illustrated versions of the Robert E. Howard stories. So you start reading that, and then in some kind of weird, you have to finish the trinity of unholy weird tales, and you finally get for me to Clark Ashton Smith. And the people I talk to, it's always he's the third guy you find, only to find out he might be the best out of all three. And for me, it's that purple. Hey man, he's ultraviolet purple. He's funeral purple. That purple prose, that decadent story. I like movies. Okay, it's not like I sit at home and drink out of a skull and listen to Swedish doom music, but I like stories that make me feel something, and I like unhappy endings. If that makes any sense to you, maybe because I have such a great life and I'm joyful for it. That sometimes I like to read things that resonate, that stay, that linger, and those things linger for me. So when I read Clark Ashton Smith, it's not embracing heroism, which is in tons of these stories. It embraces fatalism. This is a world on the brink of ruin, and it's our world. It's a dying Earth genre, and I don't want to say it's the first one because some guy's going to be like, "You're a clown." There was a guy in Egypt who wrote a dying Earth story on a rock a million years ago, but it's the first that I've come across, and I think he really did. He helped shape Vance and Gene Wolfe and these guys
For sure.
But the difference is that his world, our world is unrecognizable in his world. You're not going to come upon a piece, an artifact of some kind. So when I first read it, I had no idea that Zothique was our world in the far future. That civilization has risen and fallen over time. The sun is dying. You don't get that sense unless he tells you that. There's no science. All science has been supplanted by sorcery, and I just love everyone is either a doomed figure or a sorcerer, a necromancer, and they're all hurtling towards their ruin. And somehow I want to make that into an RPG game, but I think it works. On the fringes of these stories, there's a vibrant world there. He touches on it. There's bustling markets and bazaars. There's wine peddlers. There's merchants from faraway lands. He doesn't dive into them because I kind of think a short story writer back then, they didn't have the word count. They weren't allowed the word count.
Yeah.
They paid by the word. So you had to kind of allude to that. So there's a whole world behind this decadent, doom-laden, dying world that I think we can kind of tap into and make into an RPG, if that makes any sense. But for me, it's that dream-like. It's like reading somebody's dream almost when you read his stories.
Yeah.
I've been really they resonate with me and they stay with me.
Interestingly, nobody's as fatalistic as him except maybe Lovecraft, but it's different for Lovecraft because he's more of a science fiction writer at heart in a way. As weird and horrific as everything is, it's all about cosmic horror, the speck, and we suddenly discover through contacting these crazy alien entities that we're specks in the universe, whereas in Smith it's just horrible. It's more of a poetic horror, right? It's actually at the end of the day we're kind of doing it to ourselves, right? And the human race is doing it to each other, and it's not there's not really such an alien presence, that doesn't have to be in the picture for us to have such a doomed outlook, I guess. Well,
That's
anyway.
fair.
Yeah. And there is also.
Go ahead.
Oh no, it's just what I'm saying is also in the stories. Like when you read Conan, you follow Conan. Here, you don't follow anybody specifically, but there are some elements in there. In the one story, I think it's the Black Abbot of Cthulhu. There's these two characters which are you can almost I get a Gray Mouser or Favre feeling with them. It's a pikeman and a bowman on a quest to steal a woman for their king, and they get in a crazy adventure mixed into the stories. More so than at first blush, because you're so overwhelmed with that that doom-laden atmosphere. I don't know if that makes any sense.
So we're talking about the doom. What's now? I realize you're this is all work in process. You've got drafts going. You're writing this stuff. There's a lot of it's written, but you're still tweaking and da da da. Are you making rules tweaks? let's talk about the rules. Is this a different version of DCC? Is it an overlay of DCC, that you use with regular DCC? Are there new classes? Is there like a Doom luck or like we have fleeting, like tell us a little bit. Give us a taste, man. Come on.
Well, for me, it was a conscious decision not to write a new RPG. Let's put that out there. I mean, I did not want to. I wanted to focus. For me, the whole thing is I want to focus on tone and atmosphere. I don't want to feel like you're like this is a world inspired by Clark Ashton Smith. I want you to feel like you're stepping right into the stories. So for my whole emphasis has been on making this as canon as possible, and it sound like Clark Ashton Smith wrote this RPG. That being said, I am going to have some mechanics in there that are specific towards the setting. The thing with mechanics is you need to play test mechanics. You can't just throw mechanics around and ruin your game. So yes, a lot of it is the same because we know DCC works. We know 5e works. We know Shadow Dark works. So the fact that we know this works, I want to keep that very close. Now, are you going to run into a halfling? Of course not, right? Are we going to reskin a halfling? Of course we are, right? Are the spells going to be a little bit, are we going to have new spells? For sure we're going to have new spells. I'm working on something right now called the Doom and Decadence mechanic. It's either going to be a track or a die. I'm not 100% sold on exactly what it is. I have an idea in my mind. It's a Doom and Decadence track that every character's on. But then again, right, I need to play test that a little bit further, so I don't really want to know what it does. But there's going to be new spells and stuff like that, like I mentioned. But like I wanted to stay away from writing an entire adventure, a role-playing system on its own. So it will play very much like DCC with a Zothique. I'm not bringing Zothique to DCC. I'm bringing DCC and 5e to Zothique. The world stays the same. The lens is different. The dice you roll might not be the same, but you're going to be playing in that world. That's the best way I can explain it.
Are you doing it? Okay, this is maybe too like RPG guy nerdy, but are you gonna write it all in DCC and then have it converted out to 5e and Shadow Dark from there?
Yeah, that's the original plan because this isn't anything new. I've been writing this for a while now.
Yeah,
I'm like what 350,000 words in minimum, easy.
Wow.
Easy, clean words in. And everything's written with I think DCC fits it the best right out of the box. So we'll go with that. And then I'll take it from there and turn it into put the 5e rules on it or the 5e lens on it, and then same thing with Shadow Dark. So what that means is, like, if you take a spell, for example, a DCC spell is it's huge, right? There's 14 entries per spell, and then I got to condense that spell into a paragraph or two for 5e add some and then I got to condense it even further into Shadow Dark, which is, you know what I mean? So as a writer, DCC by far challenges me the most, and I love it for that reason. Like there is no like a 5e. I like the 5e rules because you have things like fatigue mechanic or fatigue condition, dazed condition, stunned condition, and DCC you have to write all that out. You know, -1 die. This happens. Put a little fluff on it. So I find the conversion very simple going the other way, right? It's when Joe gives me conversion from 5e to DCC, it's like I'm writing the whole thing over again, right? Because I have to make all that make sense. But when I'm going the other way, I'm like, oh, he's got the stun condition. He's got whatever, the fatigue, whatever it is. You know what I mean? So, but to answer your question, yeah, everything starts for me. Well, it starts with atmosphere, tone, even generic, like the world. It doesn't matter what rule system I'm using. I'm writing about Tassoon or Xylac, and I'm taking the stuff out of those stories. Luckily for me, the way I've always been a note taker when I read, like almost, I don't want to call it critical reading, it sounds like a goof, but I've made tons of notes. Sacrilege, I know. I draw in all my books, highlight, turns of phrase that I like, perspective shifts, anything that strikes me. This is before I ever wrote really an adventure. or wrote anything. I just kind of did writing, and I wanted to see how these guys did it. So then when I went back to my Clark Ashton Smith, this being one of them here, it's already full of notes. So then I extrapolate everything out of that book into like places, NPCs, magic, creatures, and then I built the world from there. And then for me, stats and mechanics, that always comes after. Nobody remembers your adventure because the goblin had armor class 12 instead of armor class 15. Nobody cares. As long as you don't break, as long as your stats and your mechanics doesn't break the game, how your adventure or your writing makes people feel when they play and read it, that's all that matters. We'll figure out the stat stuff later. I've done it. I've done it with 25 publications already. Never had a complaint about that.
Sage words, man.
So
sage words.
Yeah, that's here's the thing. Stats and mechanics, they'll break your game, but they will never make your game, in my eyes. Your game has to come out of tone, out of feeling, out of atmosphere. And I'm stepping into somebody else's world. I'm stepping into Clark Ashton Smith's world, so I'm going to try to do it the best I can, the way he would. Or
Amen.
Now, may I ask? I actually have 3 questions for you.
Sure.
After working on the Dying Earth project, how do I phrase this? Dying Earth, as we know, is a collection of 4 books with individual stories within some of those, and book 3 as the overarching story with Kugel. How would you describe Zothique to people who aren't familiar with it? Like the core material.
As the stories as Clark Ashton Smith wrote them, how would I describe it? Zothique very simply is a world at the end of its time. It's our world at the end of its time. It's a place of alchemy, necromancy, where the dead walk, where dead gods speak through the mouths of idols, and it's unlike other settings. It's a world at the end of its time, but it's our world, and I mean that's the best way I can explain it. The whole world's marching towards its ruin. The sun's dying. It's steeped in fatalistic imagery and sorcery, and it's just dripping with atmosphere, if you ask me.
Is a lot of
itself,
individual
it's 14,
stories?
15 short stories.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's a collection of 15 short stories and 1 poem.
Okay.
Makes up the Zothique cycle. There is a play, which is I think it's called the Dead Will Cuckold You. It's a 6-act play that he wrote. Wow. And then there's some fragments and stuff like that. But basically, it's those 15 stories and 1 poem that make up the Zothique cycle.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I've never run across this play, so that alone is that is pretty crazy.
Feel like I definitely want to read that.
Yeah,
it's got one of the coolest lines. He's going to prune some. He's like, the king's yelling at one of his minions. He says, "I'll prune your ears with a sickle. I'll boil you in camel's tail." And I've been trying to use that line for the last 2 months. I want to boil somebody in camel's tail.
Wow, that's pretty good. Is the play written in verse like a Shakespeare play?
Yeah, it's got the act, like the people involved in it or whatever at the start. It's pretty cool. It's a six. It's in 6 acts or 6 scenes actually. It's short.
Yeah, I gotta see this. This is pretty intense. Okay, cool.
You know what I'm going to do too? I'm going to put up probably a poll in the next couple of days, and I'm going to ask the people who backed the project to maybe figure out what scene out of that play they'd like the artist to draw, and then I'll have the artist make a drawing for that play. Just something fun, you know what I mean? So we'll see.
I was pretty sure you were gonna say which scene you'd like to see Judge Jen and Judge James stage at Gen Con next year.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I think Judge Jen would be an amazing stage manager, lead actor, triple threat, for instance, and she can sing for sure. Judge James, multi-talented. I can't quite imagine him singing, but maybe got a
Is
got a
it
good.
is it a singing?
knocking.
Is it a musical?
But, well, Shakespeare has
I-
music, music
Okay.
in her
We
spurs.
can do whatever we want.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Swedish death metal, right in the
I
middle.
just want the
insert
director
a
chair.
little.
All right. All right.
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm game. I'm game for
Okay.
this.
I want the director
Oh
chair.
my
Okay.
God.
Zothique
I want to get
skit
that director chair with my
yeah.
name on the back, and I
Mm.
just want to be ranting and yelling at everybody nonstop. I'll grow my hair out,
Hey, that's my
disheveled
job.
looking. But yeah, I guess. Well, we could co-direct. How about that? Is it even
Yeah.
co-directing when you direct a play? Yeah, you're a director, right?
Yeah.
Well, producer just gets to sort of float above and lose all the money, and the director
Hey now,
yells at
hey now.
everybody, but
I don't need none of that.
but the producer yells at the director, right? Like that's I think.
Okay, so Jen
something
can
like-
yell at me, and I'll yell at you guys.
Yeah, that
Okay.
might work.
Fair.
She might be tired of
Works.
yelling at us by now.
Works.
Well, other questions for Marz. I feel like I've hogged the mic a little bit. I'm so excited about Zothique and Clark Ashton Smith. One of my, wow, right up there. But other questions, guys.
I would actually like to read something directly from the Kickstarter
Please.
under why no stretch goals. In Zothique, all things hasten toward the doom beneath the dying sun. We will not bind this campaign to empty promises of distant marvels or gilded illusions. There are no hidden tears, no stretch goals, only the certainty that what is offered shall be delivered as pledged.
Mm.
There's
Wow.
your brilliant snippet of this writing style.
Some poetry in the FAQs.
Yeah. Also,
I had to make it sound
Marz-
cool that I wasn't giving any stretch goals because I didn't want the project was big enough.
Mission
last
accomplished.
The last campaign, I said, why? I had the same thing. Why is there no stretch goals? I'm like, because Conan doesn't believe in stretch goals, and Crom laughs at stretch goals. And my whole reason was I don't want to get caught up. I have to deliver what I say. I'm delivering. And
Yeah.
when I'm one guy. Luckily I got Julian who agreed to write the one story for me, the one adventure for me. I don't want to fall in. I got a million new things to write. I'm not going to make my deadlines. So no stretch goals. That being said, I got stretch goal mentality. If people buy this book, and I was talking to James about it before we started the show, and if people buy this book and it sells and it's making money, then I'm always going to look, hey man, maybe I can add a satin bookmark to this book. Or what do these gilded pages look like now, right? I want to make something that I want. That's the true story. So if I got extra money and I or you know what I mean, it's doing well. I might be able to slide in some extra stuff that probably would have been in a stretch goal, but I'm just not even going to bring it up in stretch goal. I'm just going to do it on my own, and it'll be an extra picture or an extra 3 illustrations or something that kind of rounds the project out wherever I feel it needs.
Now,
You're
Marz,
reinvesting in the same project. That's really, really admirable.
Well, I can't stop because
wow.
I mean, for me, I brought this up before. The things that probably that end up being the best are things that people really love to do, right? If that makes sense. This is an author I love. This is a story, a game I want. I'm not filling a quota somewhere. Oh my God, there's an opening for. No, this is something. If 10 people backed it, I'd write it. If 10,000 people back it, I'm gonna write it and make it even better. So let's hope I lean towards 10,000 people back it.
Godspeed to your editor (S).
Now, Marz, you do some coaching, right?
I do, yeah. I coach a lot.
You like hockey or what is
I
it?
coach hockey, I coach football, I coached boxing for a number of years.
Huh. Yeah, I was just as you were
Riverside.
Now you got the popcorn. My son's on the back of that.
Hey, see, as you were talking there, I was getting so riled up. I was like, I was ready to run out, onto the field. Like, let's beat those Yog-Sothoth right now. I want you. Look, Arkham High School only comes to our town once a year. You're gonna let these Yog-Sothoth come in and walk all over us, and that kind of like. I'm just getting riled up. It's gonna be a fun project. I'm very much looking forward to this.
Yes, no doubt. The Tassoon Tornadoes will not lose this game. There's
That's
no
right.
chance.
That's
There's
right.
no chance.
They're gonna come into our fatalistic doom house and try to beat us.
Bullshit. No chance. They could take their puppies and rainbows, and we'll stay with our doom and sorceries, and we'll beat them every time.
Yes, the
Love it.
go necromancers. Yes.
Uh,
Well,
It reminds me, March Madness is right around the corner.
yeah, that's true.
Uh-huh.
Very
All this
true.
sports talk. We gotta stay tuned, folks, because Spellburn's gonna do it again.
Well, you heard it here first. So,
Yeah.
we probably need to think about putting Alana to bed. God bless her for putting up with us and all that
So
good
real
stuff.
quick, the estimated delivery for this project, you're thinking December of next year. Is that a correct
Yeah,
statement,
I wanted to
Marzia?
play it safe, so I picked December next year. I mean, hopefully I get. That's absolutely correct. Yes. I
Okay.
think for the omnibus, I probably can get that out a little bit quicker because obviously everything's already done. It's just a matter of waiting on the art and presenting it that way. So that might come a little bit quicker than the actual RPG books, but the RPG books are slated for December of next year. The art's pouring in for a lot of the stuff. The writing's coming in. Julian's given me a lot of stuff that I like. I haven't been able to reply back because I'm crazy busy trying to starter right now. But
I like how
that's the absolute plan for sure.
I like how he says he tried to sell this to me. I think there was some begging and the first sniff I had of Zothique, I think I was like, Marz, anything I could do. He's really my all-time favorite. Anything that you needed help with.
Anything at all.
There may have been
What's crazy is that a lot of people actually reached out. I was kind of overwhelmed. Like I was just getting texts left and right. Hey man, listen, I want to draw for this. I want to do art for this. I want to write on this, and appreciate all of it. But I choose. Not that I choose. You know, what I mean, I'm doing what I'm doing, and I kind of have my idea of what to see done here, and I appreciate everybody wanting to write for it. And who knows, maybe down there, obviously, going to do some other adventures and stuff for it. So don't be discouraged. You can be like Julian and have me just give you the business every once in a while and tell you how much. No, I'm easy to work with.
Hey, well, yes. And anyway, there could be, you never know. Once everything's done and the smoke has cleared and the dust has settled, there could be a V2, out there on the horizon, or God only knows what, right? You never know.
Right.
Well, cool.
The next division.
Well, very cool. Guys, other questions for Marz. Marz, anything else you wanted to hit on the project here?
No, anything, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who took the time to check it out. And I really want to say, thank you very much to the people who backed it. It's weird, like I'm not short on what am I going to say? I'm cocky as hell. Let's put it that way. And I expected people to know who I was, but people are taking a chance on me, and I realize that, and I appreciate it. And I promise I'm going to deliver. In the end, you're going to like what you see. I promise you that. That's all I can say. So I want to thank everybody. And the Kickstarter's still going, man. Still time in the back. And I'm going to add another thing. We talked about stretch goals. This isn't a stretch goal, but I'm adding a new freebie. I'm going to release what it is. Maybe in a couple of days, there'll be a new freebie to all backers. So not only will you get the free map, you're going to get this free. It's a digital thing, but it's super cool. I just got to finish it up, and all the backers will receive that as well. So thank you to all the backers. That's for sure.
Wow.
Yeah. And, I know I would trust you 100% because, first of all, I know that you want to have this in your hands and on your shelf more than anybody else. So you love his stuff, and you're doing this out of love, not to make a buck to begin with, right? There's nobody who wants to finish this more than you do. So I think it's going to show. Enough said.
I appreciate it.
All right, guys. Well, I think we better lock it up and get going because, man, I needed whiskey in a big way. So, Not that that's the whole driver here or anything like that, but Marz, thanks so much for being with us tonight. Thank you to all our crowdfunder folks who let us know you're out there. There are more folks out there who also could let us know you're out there, and we're happy to give you a shout and a promo anytime. If you got a topic on Spellburn you'd like us to address, or somebody to interview, or something to talk about, drop us an email. If you've got a guest you want, drop us an email. If you think you should be the guest, it has worked for others in the past, drop us an email. You can reach us at spellburnband@gmail.com. The more you nag
Disclaimer.
me, the more you nag me, the more you might end up a host. So I'm just saying, spellburnband@gmail.com. Here we are. We need your emails. We want to hear from you. That's that. Mega thanks to Glitter Wizard, Loot the Body, St. Karloff for permission to use their music. Thanks to our patron AI, Judge Jim, for all the hosting and maintenance help, and also to Judge Bob, the voice, for all the help with editing and bumpers and so on. You can find us at spellburn.com. All our show notes are there and the episodes are there. If you have trouble at all getting any episode on your podcast app of choice, send us an email at spellburnband@gmail.com. And as they say in jolly old England, I'll get it sorted. So thanks, guys. Appreciate you very much. And we're going to let you go with that. A game on.
Release the princess or prepare for wizardly combat.
I want to show you a trick Mother showed me when you weren't around.
Canal, Natras, Earth, Spellburn, Zothique,